Gautham Vasudev Menon, a symphony of grace, grit, and the internal monologue. As the 90s kids, we grew up in the dusty playgrounds of the old world, only to find a footing in the sleek glass corridors of the new. We were raised on the grit of landlines and long waits, but we learned to breathe in the sophisticated air of a changing Chennai. And in that transition, one voice became our internal compass. A voice that didn't just tell stories, it gave us a language for our own. That voice belongs to Gautham Vasudev Menon. Before him, romance was loud. It was choreographed. It was often a caricature. Then, Gautham Vasudev Menon stepped behind the lens and told us that love could be found in a whisper. He told us that a police officer could have the soul of a poet. He gave us a version of ourselves we didn't know existed, the urban dreamer, the articulate lover, the man who wears his heart on a crisp linen sleeve. The architecture of the sanctuary, domestic bliss. In the world of GBM, a home is a character. It's a sanctuary. He turned domestic bliss into an aspirational art form. We see it in the soft glow of a yellow lamp against a teak bookshelf. We smell it in the morning filter coffee. He showed us the beauty of the ordinary, a father and son sharing a guitar on a balcony, a family breakfast where the silence is comfortable, not awkward. He romanticized the stability of a loving home, making us crave a life that feels as curated as a rain-drenched morning, as a classy masculinity, one that values kindness and the sanctity of the four walls as much as courage on the streets. The coffee culture and the intimate conversation. And then there is coffee in a GVM film. Coffee is the high priest of romance. It's the ritual of the wait, the sound of a ceramic spoon clinking against the saucer while the steam blurs the space between two people too afraid to say, I love you, just yet. These serene moments give us a stir of romance through the smallest gestures. Life in these moments becomes dreamy and delicious. GVM understands that true intimacy is not physical, it's an intellectual frequency. It's the way his men and the women talk, navigating their lives through dialogue that feels like poetry disguised as prose. When they speak, the rest of the world fades into a soft focus blur. It's the dreamy quality of falling in love, where the air feels thicker and every word feels like a landmark in your personal history. The cultural impact, redefining the cool. We have to talk about the cultural impact. Gautham Vasudev Menon didn't just make movies, he rebranded an entire geography. He took the streets of Chennai and viewed them through a blue tinted, sophisticated lens. Suddenly, the East Coast Road was not just a highway, it was a path to self discovery. A simple apartment is like a backdrop for the Tamil soul. He changed the way a generation dressed, the way they spoke, and the way they perceived class. He moved us away from the angry young man trope and introduced the thinking man. He made it cool to be sensitive. He made it cool to speak English with a local soul. He bridged the gap between the global and the local. Because of him, an entire generation of filmmakers stopped looking for inspiration in Hollywood and started looking for it in their own drawing rooms and coffee shops. He didn't just give us films, he gave us a lifestyle archive. The man, the women, and the inner turmoil. But beneath those linen shirts lies a constant inner turmoil. The GVM hero is a man haunted by his own reflection. That low, rumbling baritone, the internal monologue, is the sound of his soul processing its own journey. He taught us that overthinking is not a weakness, it's the mark of a man who cares. And the women, they are the real evolution. Reena, Maya, Hemanika, Jessie, they are not prizes to be won, they're independent, intellectual forces of nature. The GVM woman is often the one who takes the first move. She's direct, she's terrifyingly honest, and she carries a grit that matches the hero's. In his world, the woman is the anchor, the one who forces the man to grow. The abrupt edge and the grief stricken reality. But GBM is a realist of the heart. He knows that if the fall is dreamy, the crash is devastating. He is the master of the abrupt ending. A sudden gunshot, a phone call that changes a life. The screen goes black just as you find the rhythm. He mirrors the unpredictability of the streets. When the delicious dream breaks, The tears are messy and grief stricken. It captures the anatomy of a breakdown with raw intensity. Whether it's Surya's descent or Karthik's longing, grief is as high definition as a romance was. He forces us to sit in the silence after the music has stopped, proving that grace is not the absence of pain, it's how you carry yourself while you're breaking inside. The encore, the director on the screen. Finally, we have the joy of the encore. The creator has stepped into the creation. Watching Gautham Vasudev Menon on screen is a meta experience. He brings a screen presence that is impossible to ignore. A voice that feels like a velvet over gravel, a tailored fit. We want him there because as a physical and manifestation of the cool he's spent 20 years directing. He's not just acting, he's lending his legendary aesthetic to the frame. He is the man who taught us how to look at the world, and now we finally get to look at him. The monologue continues. The music is still playing, and for those of us who grew up in his shadow, the grace never fades. And we wish Gautam Vasudev Menon continues to make wonderful romantic love stories with interludes, breaking the stereotypes, giving us a more realistic, graceful take on love. He's a legend. He's a legacy. And that's why we have chosen him here today on Beyond the Script Archives.